The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. This is the United Podcast Network.
Welcome to Conor Commentary, a hilarious take on news, politics, sports, and current events. It's time to buckle up. Here's Conor.
All right, and we are back, guys, and it is episode, a lot. Ben, current events, do we have any current events that we know anything about? I don't know anything about current events. I say I know about current events in the show, but I think I'm lying. What did we say this one was? Patriots, sports, football, baseball?
Patriots, sports. Sports, football, Patriots.
Those are my three areas of expertise, right? And I don't know if expertise is a good word, but those are the three talking points here. Today is actually a very important day in Boston sports. Do you know what day it is, Ben?
What day is it?
David Ortiz's birthday.
Ooh.
Yes. Big day. What is your favorite David Ortiz moment? ESPN asked that today on Twitter. They're doing like a voting thing. And they gave 4 options to pick from. One of them was the walk-off versus the Yankees in 2004.
Yep.
The other one was the Grand Slam versus Detroit.
Tigers.
David Ortiz.
David Ortiz. And then that's when the bullpen cop puts his arms up.
Yes. Yeah. And then he became famous ever since.
15 minutes.
Did you know that guy retired and his son took over?
Oh, really?
His son's a Boston cop, and now his son's a cop at the at Fenway. Is that a detail, though, do you think?
Probably.
Or do you think but he was there all the time?
Yeah, it was probably his detail.
So that was his detail. Imagine that. You got to get paid an excessive amount of money, because however much money they make on the detail is where they make most of the money, right?
Yep.
It's like $50-$60 an hour, whatever it is. So they were doing that, and all you have to do is stand in the bullpen with all the players every game. He must know the players at that point. You're out there every night. How many home games are there? 81?
Yeah.
So 81 nights you're out there in the bullpen? That's a pretty sweet gig.
Mm-hmm.
How do we get signed up for that? But then he left and his son took his post. It's pretty sweet. I forget what the other two were, though. I forget the other two moments. Those two were the main ones, though. I felt like one of those two was going to win. Which one are you going with? David Ortiz, the special moments. You pay...
No, I just blanked out. I just totally spaced out. I was trying to Google David Ortiz stuff, and I just spaced completely out.
But Ben's high.
I'm not.
No, Pat O'Leary giving you a hard time.
No, because I was going to say Pat's 100% right.
Pat's.
He's 100% right, because he just said the speech he gave after the marathon bombing in 2013.
Oh, yes, that was one of the options.
Fucking CD.
Yes.
That one.
That was one of the options as well. Okay, that's what I was forgetting. So there were four of them. Those were 3 of them. I said the Grand Slam where Torrey Hunter went into the bullpen and the cop became famous.
Yeah.
That was pretty sweet, too. They were down 5-1. It was either the 7th or the 8th inning, and there were 2 outs. So if he didn't at least get a hit, that game was over. And they were already down 0-1 in that series, if I remember correctly.
I was there.
So they really needed to win. You were there?
Yes, sir.
How nuts did everyone go?
I was in the booth.
You were in the booth?
The radio booth, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Pete, was the crowd going absolutely ballistic?
Everyone was, even in the booth. I was there for every game that series, and I was there for every game of the World Series that year.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're like the Boston cop. You're getting paid to be there.
I wasn't getting paid as much as him, I'll tell you that.
No, definitely not. Right? Were you an intern at that point?
No.
You were full on working for him.
I never interned there.
No,
not there. I was an intern years before that.
Oh, okay.
That
was actually only 7 years ago.
Yeah, I interned at Kiss 108 for Maddie in the Morning.
Touche.
That's where I interned.
Are you still friends with Maddie in the Morning?
Friends?
Yeah.
No.
And what's his Billy Costa? That's his co-host. And then who's the other person? Lisa
Donovan.
Has she been there for a while too now, right?
She's been there since before I got there, and I got there. How old am I? I got there.
How old am I?
I think
Ben's forgetful
14
today.
years ago.
14 years ago. Sheesh. Yeah, so it's been the 3 of them for almost 2 decades then.
Yeah.
If that's been a minimum of 14 years.
Yeah.
Sheesh, and nothing's changed with that show, right? It's the same thing. They got the same stick too. He just goes on. He makes fun of Billy, right?
Yep.
It's like the same thing.
I'll be honest. I haven't listened to him in many years at this point.
No, I don't really either. I just listen to whatever's on the radio as I drive to work every morning.
I usually just put on a podcast now.
Do you?
Yeah.
Conor Commentary. There you go.
Bingo.
Find us on all podcasting networks, right?
All platforms.
All podcasting platforms. You name it.
Find us anywhere and everywhere.
Anywhere and everywhere. That's right. So you can listen to us on your way to work. Anyways, Ben.
Yeah.
You have some. Is it called crow? Is that what you eat when you're incorrect?
Yes.
So you have to eat crow.
Maybe.
Do you remember what happened last week?
0.0?
0.0. That's what I have written here. You gave the Patriots a 0.0 chance to win. And they did it. They beat the Baltimore Ravens. Are you going to say it's because Bill Belichick made the phone call and had a monsoon come in when there was 1 minute left? Was that the reasoning?
You tell me. You watched the game too.
I watched the game.
That was the reason?
No, I just thought the Patriots played better than them.
They did. They actually did genuinely play better than them.
Right.
They simplified the game plan. They took advantage of what the weather was.
Yep.
That's basically what it was.
Damian Harris ran hard, huh?
He's good.
He's good.
Kid's good.
He's the real deal. So do you think he just is completely taken over for Sony Michel at this point?
Yeah. Sony Michel's as good as dead. At least to Bill.
Right. Well, he's slated to come off the IR soon, isn't he?
Yeah, in like a week.
I thought he was able to come back like already, and
He might have been.
and they just haven't brought him back yet.
Yeah.
So
I don't think you're ever. Maybe he'll get a few more carries in his career, but
yep.
He's with the Patriots, I should say.
Is his contract up at the end of this year?
I don't think so.
No.
I think he has one more.
He has one more year. Well, the Patriots might just cut him because it's a rookie contract still, right?
Yeah, but
So
it's a
it can't be
first rounder.
That's true. I know. First rounders get paid a lot of money.
Yeah, and to be honest with you,
decent,
you could trade him.
Right.
You could trade him.
You think there's a buyer out there for Sony Michel?
Yeah.
I mean, he had a great rookie season. He ran well in the playoffs and towards the Super Bowl, but outside of that, the past two seasons, last year he just could not shake a tackle, man.
But that
was
he
his
never
issue.
could really shake a tackle. So
That's actually
when
true.
you kind of look back at it, you go, is it because you're good, or is it because you have an awesome offensive line that's making you look good?
Well, in the Super Bowl 2018, he ran behind Gronkowski and James Devlin,
that offensive line.
But I remember they just blocked. They had a ridiculously good blocking that year.
Yeah.
James Devlin is an unsung hero, man. James Devlin was a beast.
He was a beast. It was a shame he had to basically retire.
I know.
Sony Michel will be a free agent in 2022.
2022. Okay, so
you
next
got one more season.
Yeah, so next season would be his last season technically.
Yes.
Then, right? And
exactly.
then with the first year rookies, they always have like a 1 year option, right? So they can pick it up or let them go. Is that how that works? I always thought a lot of them they give them like a 1 year option at the end, so they can try and keep them. If
no, the
good.
NBA you get 2 years of options.
Ah,
so that might be what you're thinking of.
But do they have to pay them like they do in the NFL with the franchise tag? Where you have to pay
Well, they don't do that in the NBA.
No. Because then you end up having to pay them a ton of money for one season anyways.
Yeah, so the first time you franchise them, it's like top 10 of that position. You get
right. They have to like
somewhere in the middle,
right?
Yeah. And then the second time, it's like top 3.
Yep.
And
at that point, if you're going to franchise tag
you can do
someone,
it 3 times.
Can you do it 3 times?
Yeah.
At that point, why not just give them a 3 year contract for a ton of money if you're going to pay them 3
Nobody
years in a row?
gets tagged 3 times.
Right. It's never happened, right?
Yeah.
Did people even get tagged twice?
Yeah.
Really?
I think Gostkowski got tagged twice.
Did he?
Yeah.
That's such a Bill Belichick thing to do, is franchise tag the kicker 2 years in a row. But now look at Gostkowski, man.
But that's why they also come up with deals and go like, okay, you can franchise me once, you can't franchise me twice.
Oh, like written in the contracts?
Yeah, absolutely.
For whoever they're...
They do that all the time.
That's actually pretty smart by who. That's why you need to have an agent.
Yeah.
Some of these people have been going without agents though, right?
Well,
lately, isn't that a thing? Richard Sherman, is he one of them?
I don't know. Teddy Bruschi did it for a long time without an agent. It was just him and his wife would go do the deal. Yeah.
That was you haven't read The Dynasty, right?
No.
Because I feel like that back then it was like they were all real close with Robert Kraft, and they just talked to Kraft, and they'd work out a deal like amongst themselves, right, with the owner basically.
Yeah, and with obviously Bill.
Yeah. But it was I don't know. I feel like it was different back then. They just went right to the guy. Well, also it might just be a New England thing, because some of these players don't really know the owner like that, right?
Mm.
Isn't that a thing in the NFL? Like a lot of the owners are less active.
I guess. I mean, a lot of them own multiple businesses.
Right. I know. Pretty much anyone who has that type of money has to own something else first, or additionally.
I feel like the 2 guys that are most active with their team.
I've never seen the Jets owner. I don't even know who it is.
Woody Johnson. Well, he's serving as an ambassador to Ireland.
Oh. An ambassador to Ireland, what do they do?
I don't know what ambassadors really actually do.
Me neither. That sounds like a good job, though, an ambassador to Ireland.
But obviously, Jerry Jones, he's the most
Jerry Jones is
directly
ridiculously
involved.
active.
He
Everyone
basically
knows
serves
him.
as the GM, too.
Right. Essentially, yeah.
Those are probably the most active owners.
Right, 'cause when you think about it, it's like, who's the owner of, like, the Chargers?
I don't know who owns the Chargers right now.
Do you ever see the guy?
No.
You want to know who is the Grim Reaper of the NFL, though?
Daniel Snyder.
Who's that?
He's the owner of the Washington football team.
Daniel Snyder.
The worst fucking owner in maybe all of sports.
You think so?
Oh, it's
why?
Without
Just because they're an atrocious franchise over and over and over again?
He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
They were just getting investigated for like rampant sexual harassment.
Yeah, they've had a lot of bad things go on over the last decade there, right?
Oh, terrible.
Now
it's
they're finally opening
team.
the curtain and seeing what the hell's been going on.
Exactly.
But no, I was actually going to say the owner of the Falcons,
Arthur Blank.
I feel like whenever he comes down onto the field, it's like, oh, here it goes. They have a 20-point lead. They're going to end up losing in overtime.
My favorite thing about Arthur Blank is, I love when he comes down on the field.
Yeah, and then they somehow collapse.
So in one of Michael Hawley's books, I don't remember if it was War Room or the other one.
Yep. Are these good books? Recommended?
By Michael Hawley?
Yeah.
Very good.
Really?
Yeah.
These are all Patriots books?
Yeah, I think it's War Room. Yes, they're Patriot books. But I think he talked to Arthur Blank in it.
Yep.
And Arthur Blank was bragging about finishing college in 3 years. Now here's the funny thing.
Is that a good thing? Didn't Richard Sherman finish college in like 2 with like a 4.0?
So,
and he went to like Stanford or something absurd?
But here's the funny thing about Arthur Blank bragging about that.
Mm-hmm.
My dad's cousin went to the same school at the same time as Arthur Blank. At that time, it was a 3-year college. It wasn't a 4-year school.
Honestly, though, even if it was a 4-year school and he finished in 3 years, don't you think he'd have things that he'd be able to brag much more about in his life other than college being finished in 3 years? Like, I can't think of anything less significant, especially in somebody who obviously went on to make astronomical amounts of money. I don't know what he did to make his money, but
I don't either.
For him to be able to own the Falcons, he must have made hundreds of millions of dollars in his life.
Oh, billions.
And that's what he brags about to the guys. Like, I finished college in 3 years.
Arthur Blank's net worth is
let's hear this.
$5.3 billion.
$5.3 billion.
He's got that Ed Sullivan money.
Oh my goodness, I know. Seriously, does it say what he did? What is it? What else? He must own something else.
Nope. His now updated net worth is $6.1 billion.
He just made $700 million in the past minute. That's like some Bill Gates type stuff, right there.
Oh. He co-founded Home Depot.
That makes sense. So Home Depot's stock must have just went through the roof. He made $700 million.
So after he graduated Babson.
Oh, that's where. So he went to Babson.
Yeah, he was hired by.
Wow. So he's from. He was in Massachusetts at least for.
Yeah, but he's from New York City.
Okay.
He was hired by Arthur Young and Company, where he's a senior accountant. He later joined the Daling Corporation, where he rose to become president of Elliott's Drug Stores, Stripe Discount Stores.
Oh, I think they were a big thing back in the day.
Yeah. Then he moved over to Handy Dan Home Improvement Centers.
Okay.
Bernard Marcus was the CEO of Handy Dan, and Blank was vice president of finance when both were fired in 1978 as part of an internal power struggle.
Wow.
Later that year, Blank co-founded Home Depot with Marcus.
Damn.
Yeah.
Now that makes sense.
That's where he made his money.
Yeah, yep, I would say so.
The Home Depot.
There's people who became millionaires just investing in Home Depot stock.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
It's Home Depot stock, I think. Isn't that one of the big ones that went like astronomically through the roof? Like Netflix?
It might have, because it was still one of the stores that was actually open during all of this crap.
No, I'm saying like from when it originally, like its original IPO.
Oh, I don't know.
Because there's like Apple and like Amazon or whatever, and people are like, oh, if I bought that when it first came out, like I would have millions of dollars right now. I felt like Home Depot was one of those type of stocks where it's gone up like so much money that if you invested in it, you'd have money now.
Ed's the guy you want to talk to about
That's
that kind
true.
of stuff.
That's
he knows
true.
way more about that.
We'd have to ask Ed. Dude, I work with a guy, right, who did day trading back in the day.
Yep.
And it was either Apple or Amazon, and he bought a bunch the first day it came out.
Yep.
And it went up a good amount, so we sold it all the same day.
Mm-hmm.
But like if he held on to it, it would be like
have like $100 million.
I forget. It was way less, but it was like $6 million or something.
Wow.
Enough that he wouldn't be working there right now. Whatever it was, I'm like, there's no way this guy would be here. And it wasn't that much money. It was like $2,000 or something. And it was 15 years, $2,000 went to $6 million or whatever it was.
That's ridiculous.
It was something astronomical. $6 million. Would you retire, Ben, or would you still do the show?
$6 million at my age.
That's a lot.
I'd still work.
Would you?
Yeah.
You wouldn't need to.
No
way.
You need a couple million to retire now.
Yeah, but just think about how much money you could generate from it. Even like if you generated a passive 5%, 5% of 6 million is 300,000. You'd be making $300,000 a year.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't need to work. I mean, you'd only have work if you felt like it at that point.
Yeah, I guess.
Because $300,000 a year, I mean, that's Pete Davidson Saturday Night Live money. That's an inside joke there from Ben and I.
Yeah.
You'll get it. You'll get it one day.
One day you'll get it. I don't know. I honestly think I'd be kind of too bored to not at least do something.
That's actually a really good point.
I don't think I'd ever work full time.
Yep.
Or maybe I'd just own my own thing.
Right.
Like a store or some shit, like a convenience store, just to do something.
I don't know. I feel like then that would be a hassle.
Probably, but at that...
Then you could just hire people and only show up when you want to, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it would just give you something because, well, yeah, that's very true. What else would you do every day?
Because think about it, $6 million isn't fuck you money.
Well, apparently it is if you can make $300,000 a year off of it.
Yeah, that's not too bad, but...
Because when you think about it, I mean, fuck you money is just, you don't have to go to work or do anything you don't want to do.
Yeah.
So if you could generate $300,000 a year, you definitely don't have to do anything you don't want to do. Unless you have a really, really, really high cost of living. Really high lifestyle.
I like what's going on in the chat right now.
What's everyone saying?
Pat's asking Ed for a loan. Ed said, talk to Connor. He's more liquid than I am.
Patriots -3 must be a lock this week.
Did you win money off that game?
I did not, no.
Did you lose money off that game?
I did not, no. I've only bet on one game this season. Can you guess what game it was?
The Chiefs game?
It was the 49ers.
Oh.
I thought the Patriots were a lock that week. They just lost to the Broncos the week before.
Yep.
And it's like they always come back and win the next game after they played shitty. I'm like, oh, they're so pissed they lost to the Broncos. They're definitely going to beat the 49ers. Yep. It was like a 2-point spread. And then I went to the place up in Seabrook. You can go in there and bet at like the things now.
Really?
Yeah. It's like open. It's like a little mini casino basically, and you can bet right at the screens. You put money in, pick whatever you want.
Huh.
And it's so in depth. It will let you pick any spread you want. On one of them, I picked the Patriots +10. I was like, oh, that's easy money. I'm like, at least that's like a fucking lock. They lost by like 30. And I think they were giving too. So sometimes it's just astronomically off, but usually Vegas is right on the money.
Yeah.
It's impeccable, whoever does that. Do you know how they do it?
How Vegas does it?
Yeah.
No
I figure
idea.
you have some inside brain on that, right?
Nope. Not into sports gambling at all.
So I'm thinking it's like, do you think it's a computer or it's like mathematicians? Like, how do they break it down when it's like Patriots -2.5 and then it comes down to be like right on the money, like
you saw the movie
80% of the time?
You saw the movie Casino?
I saw Casino, yeah.
Remember at the whole beginning they're talking about that? Like how he's coming up with these spreads and everything? Like, well, he knows the quarterback for Yale is hurt. So.
Right. But that was like 1968. You know what I mean?
Yeah, even earlier. But
yeah, I feel like now they know something different. That was a crazy movie, though, because then it showed everything behind the scenes, and like they were all stealing money. Mm-hmm. Like he was stealing, like everyone was just skimming off the top.
Yep.
And it was like common knowledge. It was like it was like everyone was involved, from like the dealers to like the people behind the scenes to the mob to the politicians were all involved. I remember he was talking about all the different like jobs that they'd give people there.
Yeah.
And you had to pay somebody to get the job where you with a valet. Imagine that. You have to pay to get a job as a valet because it's going to pay you so much money because all the rich people would go there and they'd all hand out massive fucking tips.
Ridiculous.
Seriously, right?
Would you do that?
Yeah, I would be a valet. I would park the people's cars at the casino if they're all handing you hundreds, or back then it was probably like 20s or whatever.
Still not bad.
Well, back then it was probably like, yeah, no, seriously. Back then you add that up, it was probably like $200 in nowadays money.
And just tips in like an hour.
Yeah, probably more. Yeah. That was like in what's the other movie? Goodfellas.
Yeah. Where
Jimmy the Gent hands 20s to everyone.
Yep.
When did that take place? Like 1970?
Well, Goodfellas was the span of like 20 years. Remember,
right.
It starts off as a little kid.
Yep.
So like the reality, like remember when he's an adult, he's courting the woman he would marry. I forget what her name was.
Yep.
And they had kids.
Yep.
It was probably like 12 years, a span of 12 years. But
Yeah,
that
it was
movie's
like-
a lot of bullshit.
Is it? I thought it was very accurate. It's not?
No,
No?
not quite. I've
Shit.
heard some stories about how
It was grossly exaggerated? or?
his role in that life was very exaggerated.
Okay.
A lot of that stuff
Henry Hill?
Henry Hill, thank you.
Yeah, yep.
Was pretty true.
Right.
But there was a lot of stuff that was just and there's this guy, former mobster on YouTube, Michael Francis, who goes through these mob movies and tells you what's bullshit and what's accurate and what's not.
Right.
And he went through and he's like, listen, Henry was not that tight, with these type of mobsters. He's like, I never hung out with him, and I'm mentioned in the movie.
Right.
And this, and that, and he would go through all of it and be like, this is where it's kind of bullshit.
Yep.
This is what's true.
Jimmy the Gent was the main guy, right? Him and then who was Joe Pesci playing?
Christ, I forget what his name was in that movie.
Yeah.
So it was Henry Hill, Jimmy Burke, and whatever
And
Joe
him.
Pesci's
Right.
character's name was, I forget.
Right. He was funny in that.
Oh,
He
he's
played
great in everything.
he played those things to a T.
Yeah.
Casino was unbelievable. Him and his brother in Casino, they really got beat to death with baseball bats at the end. That was true, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, but not where
Not like what they said it
that
was.
same guy was like, that's not how it went. They did get beaten to death with baseball bats, but
Yep.
not how they portrayed it.
Right. And they did try and kill
Lefty.
they tried to kill him in the car, right?
Yeah.
The car did explode, but for whatever reason it didn't blow up.
It had this extra panel under the floorboard on the driver's side, which
Yep.
is what saved his life.
Right. Is that guy still alive?
I don't think so.
No.
He can't be.
Did he go to prison in that?
No.
So he came out of that all somehow clean, huh?
Yeah.
Probably a ton of money still.
So that guy's
What an
name-
what an interesting life. You want to know what was wicked accurate though? I guess is from what I've understood is Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, I know. I've never
what I've-
actually seen the entire movie.
What?
And
What?
I don't know. It's one of those ones where I was like, yeah, all right, I'll check it out. And then I never really got fully around to it.
For a guy who loves movies, man, that's a great movie, Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
And I've looked into it too because I wanted to know how much of it was actually real, and it's like they say most of it was like dead on accurate.
Well,
fucking
didn't it come
nuts.
from his autobiography or something like that?
Yeah, when he was in prison, he wrote the book.
Okay. That's what it was.
He was in that Laurie Laughlin prison, though. You know what I mean? He was at the country club for like a few years.
Exactly.
I don't know, man. That type of stuff might have been worth it for him. He was making $1 million a week, and then he went to jail for like 29 months or something.
Yeah.
Like 2.5 years, and then he wrote a book in there. And now he came out, and I think he's still rich. He's on a bunch of podcasts. He's on a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
He probably has his own at this point.
So in the movie, he was Sam Ace Rothstein.
Yep.
In real life, he was Frank Lefty Rosenthal.
Frank Rosenthal. Now that sounds like a mobster name. Who's the Rosenthal that's involved in the MLB?
Ken?
Yes.
The reporter?
Is that it? Oh, I thought he was like the commissioner or something.
No, that's
somebody
Rob
else.
Manfred.
Rob Manfred,
Frank
yep.
Rosenthal died in 2008.
2008. Okay.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Sure.
to Frank,
Yep.
who was apparently the plug for the casinos back in the day.
Exactly.
He wrote the odds. Man is responsible for a lot of people losing a lot of money over the years.
And a lot of bad people gaining a lot of money over the years.
Seriously. All right. So Patriots, Ben, you think that they have a chance to win this week? Do you think they have a chance to make the playoffs?
The Patriots?
What's your percentage of a chance you'll give them to make the playoffs?
All right, let's look at the standings right now.
It can't be 0.0 after that win, right?
No. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Yeah,
8,
7.
9 teams are ahead of them
They have 7 games left, right? 9 teams are ahead of them.
in the AFC.
Okay, 9 are ahead of them.
Buffalo,
7 make it.
Miami, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Baltimore,
Yep.
Indy, Tennessee,
So do they-
Kansas City, and Vegas.
They need 2 or 3 of them to fall off. Because
8 teams now make the playoffs.
8 teams make it?
They initially upped it to 7 for
7,
this year,
yep.
and I think they recently just upped it to 8.
To 8?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was like a maybe, depending on how COVID goes, 8 thing.
I think you're right.
Yep. I feel like it was like if COVID goes really south, and then they're just gonna like squash the rest of the season and
It's
make
still
8
7
teams.
per.
I
It's still
thought
7 per.
that's what I read recently. That was a recent thing.
So when you look at who they could realistically eclipse
Yep.
to make a playoff spot, Miami.
Miami. Yep. The Raiders.
The Raiders.
I think the Raiders are going to end up like 9-7.
And Cleveland.
Cleveland could end up like 9-7.
Those are the 3
6.
teams you look at and they go, okay, you could come back and you could actually pass them because you're sitting at 4-5 right now.
Yep.
And those teams are all
10-6 though.
6-3.
Right.
Yeah. You're not going to pass Buffalo.
Nope, not at this point. Highly unlikely.
Certainly not going to pass the Steelers. They're undefeated.
Definitely not.
Indy and Tennessee are both too good.
Yep. I don't think they're going to fall that far.
And they both have bad teams to beat up on in their division.
Yep. They both have Jacksonville coming up.
Kansas City, you're not going to catch.
Kansas City's way gone.
And then you got Vegas.
Yeah, and Vegas has been pretty good, but I feel like Vegas is just destined to be like a 9-7 team.
Yeah.
The Patriots kind of beat them somewhat easily. You know what I mean?
And Cam played like crap in that game, if you remember correctly.
Yeah, he was very average.
Yeah.
How did they beat them? They just didn't let them do anything on offense the entire second half, right?
Yeah.
They just completely shut down Carr.
Yeah, pretty much.
Speaking of Carr, did you see what his brother said?
No.
His brother did a ranking. I saw it on Twitter before I wrote it down, and it was like he ranked like the top offensive people, not just quarterbacks, offensive players in the NFL. Where do you think he ranked his brother?
100?
7th. He put him ahead of Tom Brady.
He was going to go one way or the other with it.
Right.
He was going to be like, that's my brother. Of course, I'm putting him high, or overcompensating the other way and be like, I can't put my brother that high.
He could have just done like what probably would have been accurate at like 62nd or something.
Yeah, exactly.
But he put him ahead of Dalvin Cook, Tom Brady, Russell Wilson,
What?
Kyler Murray.
No.
Speaking of Kyler Murray, man, what about that Hail Mary?
The Hail Murray?
The Hail Mary. That was, I don't know how the hell he caught that.
Well, Hopkins is an absolute animal.
That was ridiculous. So somebody in front of him, somebody behind him, somebody beside him, all 3 of them, he went up and got it over them. And there was 1 second left on the clock or something?
It was awesome. I was watching that whole game live.
Did you want them to win?
Of course.
Oh, you did?
I'm a Cardinals fan.
You're a Cardinals fan?
Yeah, that's my second team. I've loved the Cardinals since like 1995.
Who did they have back then?
Okay, so I liked them starting when Boomer Esiason was their quarterback for 1 year.
All right.
So whatever year that was, might have been 96.
Yep.
Now I got to look it up.
So Boomer Esiason. All right. So you're a big Boomer fan?
Not really.
No.
96.
You just liked them back then?
I used to go to Arizona like twice a year with my family because the whole other side of my family lived in Arizona.
Oh, all right.
Excuse me.
I heard it's hot out there.
It's very hot. Both sets of grandparents lived out there.
Yep.
Multiple aunts and uncles, cousins, all lived out there. So we'd go there a lot.
Yeah. Is that a spot where people go when they retire as well as Arizona? Everyone always thinks Florida, but I'm like, there's so many other areas in the country where it's just as hot, if not hotter, all year round than Florida. And Arizona's probably not expensive, right?
It's not that expensive.
In comparison to where we live.
In the middle of the summer is much hotter.
Yes,
but they have no mugginess.
Right.
So
Florida's got the humidity like we have humidity.
I can deal with it when it's 105 in Arizona.
Yep.
It's hot.
Right.
But you can deal with it. But the problem is sometimes it gets up to like 115.
Yeah, fuck that, dude. That's like Vegas as well, right?
They're both in the desert.
Nevada's... Is Nevada the entire state really hot? Or
I doubt the northern parts of Nevada are really hot.
Yeah.
I'm sure during the summer they get hot, but like up by Reno.
Yeah. Isn't Reno basically just like mini Vegas?
Yeah, it probably gets to 100 in the summer, but not as oppressive as it would down in Vegas.
Right.
Yeah, Reno is like the
dumpier version.
Much
dumpier. Have you been there?
No.
You just know a lot about geography and history.
Yeah.
You're a Google brain, Ben. Oh, what did Ed used to call it Walmart brain. You got a little of everything.
Yeah. But you don't got the good shit. You just got the budget stuff, and there's a lot of budget stuff.
There's a lot of budget stuff.
Exactly.
You keep going, you can get the Amazon brain.
That'd be fantastic.
Right?
Maybe learn how to make some money.
Touche. Jeff Bezos, who's going to be the first trillionaire in the next 5 years, I heard.
Fuck him.
What does a trillionaire even mean? How's it different than a billionaire?
It's 100 times.
I guess, right? What can you do with $1 trillion that you can't do with $100 billion?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Me neither.
I can't fathom that much money, dude.
Me neither. I mean, I almost don't understand what you do with $100 billion compared to $100 million.
Oh, there's a big difference.
You think so? 'Cause $100 million, you're just so rich. It's like, one person.
Yeah, but if you're a billionaire, you're buying super yachts. If you have 100 million, you're
only buying
a
a regular yacht.
Yeah, you're just buying a regular old yacht.
I guess so. I guess that's the difference. Is a yacht and a super yacht is once you get into the $100 million.
Yeah, because that super yacht's going to cost you like $100 million with its own like landing strip and a helipad on it.
Oh, so that's one of those. Yeah,
it's got like 5 smaller boats in it.
Speaking of Wolf of Wall Street, he had a helicopter that could land on his boat.
Mm-hmm.
And the helicopter fell in the water when they got stuck in the big storm, and they had to get saved. I
did see that part.
Yeah, they had to get saved by the Italian Coast Guard. That was true.
Yes.
Yep.
I did hear that.
That was true.
True.
That was nuts, dude. He came very close to dying then on that.
Yeah.
They were about to drown, basically.
What's the closest you've come to dying?
That's a good question. I was in a car accident where the car flipped over.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good
But I
one.
didn't come that close to dying.
Mm.
I don't know. What's the closest you've come to dying?
Well, I was passed out for this.
Raccoons.
No, it wasn't the raccoon story. My family was coming back from London.
Yeah.
Or Germany. Either way, doesn't matter. We were coming back from Europe, and we were over the Atlantic. And I was younger, so I used to be able to fall asleep anywhere.
Yeah.
Any weird, awkward position, I could just fall asleep. So I was asleep for when this happened. But what happened was, while we're flying over the Atlantic, there's a fire on the plane.
What?
Yeah. And
dude, does this happen? Like
I can't give you my reaction to this because I wasn't woken up until after it calmed down.
Right.
At that point. But my parents were telling me like shortly thereafter, like it was insane.
Really?
Because he was like, they were like, all of a sudden the stewardesses were just like running back and forth. Like to the kitchen, back to the cockpit, and back and forth. And, and people could start smelling smoke.
Where was the fire?
In the kitchen, which was in the back of the plane.
Yep. Oh, you don't even think about that. They have like full-on kitchens because they're cooking meals on long flights.
Well, yeah, it's probably
or like
bullshit
heating it up or whatever, but they got something.
Yeah, so apparently there was a fire on this plane over the middle of the Atlantic.
Yeah, dude, that's creepy because then you're out in the middle of the fucking ocean. That's one of the things where they'd be like, no one knows what happened to the plane.
Exactly.
You would just go down in the middle of the ocean and no one would know what happened and there would be no survivors. Or you'd end up on an island somewhere.
Yeah.
Like Castaway.
That'd be pretty badass.
Yeah, that would be kind of crazy.
I could deal with that for a little while.
How old were you, though?
13.
All right. You might have survived it, right?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have survived that. But that was probably... And I've had some car accidents.
Yeah.
But actually, I haven't really had many car accidents. I've had a couple of close calls.
Yeah.
Where it was like 3:30 in the morning, going to work. Yeah. Doing morning radio with my buddy in the car, who I got a job with me, which was great because then we could commute together. And it had just had a snowstorm, but it wasn't snowing anymore. So it was those lanes of slush on the highway.
Yep.
And I had my Prius then.
Oh, yeah. I forgot you had the Prius.
Yeah. Now I drive a man's car.
Shout out to the universe.
Yeah.
Ben is saving the world.
And so I hit this like a lane of slush.
Yeah.
And just started spinning.
Really?
On the highway. 3:30 in the morning. Thank God
I was going to say, thank God it was that hour. There's nobody out there. If not, someone would have just crushed you.
So as we're spinning, I'm only caring about straightening the car back out because this is the part of the Mass Pike where on the right-hand side, after the road ends, it dips down like 7-8 feet.
Yep.
So you know you're rolling.
Right.
And you could be fucked at that point.
Yeah.
And so all I'm thinking about is just straighten this back out. Like, let's get going. As I finally get the car to stop spinning, I'm facing the wrong way.
Yep.
By the way. And I can see headlights in the distance. I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like, oh, God, I got to turn this around. All right, just go to work. We're good. My friend, about 5 minutes after this happened, my friend looks at me and goes, I don't know how you were so calm while that was happening. But he was like, I was shitting my pants.
Right.
And I was like, dude, I had no... what else was I going to do?
You have to stay calm in that stuff. Because if you freak out, you'll be dead.
All I know is if you spin, pull the wheel the other way.
Yep.
And just try and correct it. I'm going to do the only thing I know what I'm supposed to do in this situation. Pull the wheel the other way or whatever it is. Turn into the spin. Whatever it was.
At that point, it's like, Jesus, take the wheel.
Yeah, exactly. But I was like, dude, I didn't have enough time to panic. I just didn't have time. Yeah.
That's fucking freaky.
Yeah.
That's almost as freaky as a fire on a plane.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what happened with some of these planes that have disappeared. There was a fire on the plane, then they all went down and they crashed.
You're too young for this, but Ed will remember this. I want to say it was like 94, 95 when this happened. A TWA flight off the coast of Massachusetts, I believe.
Really?
A couple hundred miles off the coast, went down.
Yep.
And it was a big deal. And eyewitnesses were claiming they saw like some kind of missile hit the plane.
Oh, shit.
It's never been
What year was this?
fully solved. 95?
95. Oh, was that like a Cuban missile thing?
TWA Flight 800.
Flight 800, yep.
It was 96, July 17th, 1996, 8:30 at night, 12 minutes after takeoff. So it was off the coast of New York.
Yep.
And they found the plane-ish,
Yep.
I guess.
Everyone died?
They must have, yeah. There's no way anyone lived.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there was the guy that landed the plane on the ocean, on like the
Sully.
water in New York, and everyone survived.
Sullenberger,
yeah.
Sullenberger, something
Now
like
that is ridiculous.
Yeah. 212 passengers, 18 crew
Shit.
members, all dead.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they don't know. They never found out. Well, if they was hit by a missile, wouldn't they be able to find a missile in the ocean or something? Wouldn't they be able to like? You think the whole thing just dissipated?
Dude, they still haven't found that Malaysian Air flight.
I know, but that's out in the middle of nowhere, right? Like once you get out in the middle of the ocean,
Yeah.
like it's so astronomically big, like it's a plane looks like a grain of salt at that point, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look how astronomically big like the Earth is. They just found another species of monkeys the other day.
Really?
In a place I'd never even heard of. It was like in a secluded area where there's no people, out in like Montaha or something. And I'm just like, the world is so astronomically big that they're still finding these things. And 70% of the world is water.
Myanmar.
Yeah, where's that?
Southeast Asia.
Southeast Asia, yeah. I'd never even heard of it. And no people live out there or anything. But when you think about it, 70% of the Earth is still the ocean.
Yeah.
So if the plane went down in the middle of the ocean, like when you're like hours out there, if you're going on like an 8-hour flight and you're like 3 hours in,
You're FUCKED.
they're never going to find you.
No, so
Ever.
scientists have recently discovered a new species of monkey living on an extinct volcano
An extinct volcano.
in
Nice.
Myanmar.
Now that's a good place
But
to
they
live.
say the primates are already critically endangered.
Oh boy.
The species
They never knew they existed. Now they're like, they're critically endangered.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess. Yeah, I keep saying they're already facing extinction.
Oh boy. They're facing the extinction we didn't know
Bitch, you
about.
didn't know they
we didn't know they
existed.
existed until the other day. Now they're like
They could be brand new.
They could be brand new, and there could be other ones like hiding somewhere else we don't know.
That's the thing that I always would confuse me when they'd be like, "There's only 35 Bengal tigers left in the wild." How the fuck do you know?
Right? That we know
You
of.
tagged all of them.
Right? How do you know?
off.
And how do you know you're not counting some of them twice? Like, oh, there's Joe, Louie, Henry.
No, that's Henry again.
There he is.
That's
Yeah.
Henry again.
Wait, they're twins.
I know by the stripes.
That's
I
a good
always thought
question.
that was ridiculous.
I agree.
So silly. But hey, they brought some animals back from the brink of
They
extinction.
have, right? I've heard that. A lot of animals that were on their last breath have
Yeah.
been breathed in new life. They've been rewatered. The plant has grown back to life. Ben,
Yes.
it's another great week. Another great job by Ben. The vast knowledge, you never cease to amaze me. But I got to get the Patriots prediction for this week.
All right.
What chance do you give them to win?
Who are they playing?
Houston Texans.
I haven't even done my prep work for the week yet. I give them a 80% chance of winning.
I'm going to agree with that. I think they got to have a very good chance of winning. It's got to be somewhere in the 80%. And
Texans stink, but they do have some talent.
They have a really talented team. Deshaun Watson's fantastic.
Yeah, he is.
They got some good wide receivers. The defense just can't stop anyone.
No.
So that's why I think the Patriots are going to be able to somewhat slow him down, and then they should be able to score enough points and just run the ball with Damian Harris. I don't think Houston can stop the run, the pass, the special teams, the wide receivers, or the hot dog guy.
Exactly.
So Patriots 30, Houston 20. That's the play.
All right.
What do you think?
I will go Patriots 24, Texans 10.
Nice.
Yeah.
Either way, we got the Patriots in the green. See you guys next week, the big night before Thanksgiving.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.